Hi, and welcome to this episode of John's Motorcycle Rescue and Review. All right, guys, I am very excited. It is getting closer and closer to the springtime riding season here. I've already been able to do a couple of rides this year, and we've had some nice weather earlier on in the springtime. Right now, it's a little bit cool again, but I'm going to be getting my bikes out and getting them ready for the riding season of 2024. If you're like me and you love classic bikes from the 70s, 80s, and 90s, please feel free to like and subscribe. I feature lots of classic bike content on this channel. In this video, I'm going to go over some key areas of your motorcycle to check over before getting it out and actually doing the first ride of springtime. And these systems are really critical for a safe riding season. And these are also things that you can check during the riding season, but you definitely want to check after your bike is set over the winter. I've previously done a video on how to properly store your bike for winter, and you can view that video by clicking the link above. Right now, I'm with my 1981 Suzuki GS 1100E. I did store this bike properly over the winter season. I've had it on a battery tender. I have a full tank of gas, and I have some stabilizer in that keeps the gas from going bad. I ran that gas down into my carburetors, and now it's time to start this bike up for the first time during the spring. One of the most critical systems on your bike is the tires on the bike, and I'm going to do a quick inspection on the front and rear tires of this bike. I'm also going to check the tire pressure on each one and make sure that those are properly set to these factory specs. While looking at the front tire, sadly, I noticed that it has dry rot cracks around the sidewalls, and so I'm actually going to have to replace this front tire before the riding season begins. The next thing I'm going to do is just check my oil level and make sure that my oil level is correct. I'll also look at all my fluid levels, my brake fluid level front and my brake fluid level in the back, and make sure that those are correct. Another critical test that I'm going to do is I'm going to check that my brake calipers are releasing fully as I let go of them. This is especially important on classic bikes, but it doesn't hurt to check on more modern bikes as well. It's a very simple and easy test. All I do is get on the bike, and while it's in neutral, I give it a handful of brake here, squeeze that pretty firmly, and then I want to check and see, does the bike roll freely back and forth? And that if it does, it means your brakes are functioning properly. I'll also test this with the rear brake. Right now I'm hitting the rear brake a couple of times, and then I want to do the same thing. Make sure that my caliper has released and the bike rolls freely. So thankfully, this bike rolls freely. Everything is functioning as it should. Another thing I'm going to do before trying to start the bike is to make sure that there is fresh gas down in the carburetor float bowls. This bike has a vacuum-assisted petcock. It is not one where you simply turn it on and it's gravity fed. On this one, it has a setting called PRI for prime, and I'm going to set the petcock on the prime position, and that allows it to act as a gravity-fed petcock. It's now allowing gas down into the carburetors. I will let those fill up for about 30 seconds or so, and then I'll switch it back to the on position. While the petcock was on the prime position, I also just checked for any leaks or the smell of gas, and I don't see any of that currently. So that's good news, and she's ready to start. Another system that I check on the bike is the electrical system, and I want to make sure that I warm the bike up fully, and once it's all the way up to temperature, I check the running voltage at about 4,000 RPM. I also check the horn on the bike. Another critical safety component of your motorcycle is the lighting system, and what I'll do is I'm going to go around and I'm going to check my headlight, my high and low beams. I'm going to check my running lights and my turn signals to make sure those all function. I'm also going to check my brake lights, both for the front brake lever and for the rear brake pedal. I want to make sure that when I hit the brakes that my brake light turns on and warns people behind me that I am slowing down. One final area that's good to check is your chain tension. You want to set that to the factory specs, and this is just a good time to do it while you're checking over the bike prior to getting it out and riding it. Make sure your chain is healthy and lubricated for the season before you get out on the road. one final visual check you can do is just to go around the bike and look at anywhere there might be leaks or drips. You want to look on the garage floor where you have stored the bike over the winter. Make sure that it's not leaking any fluids there. If your bike has a cooling system, you want to make sure that your coolant is up to spec and that it's at the proper level and there's no leaks in that system as well. All right, I'd love to know what you guys think. If you found this video helpful, please let me know in the comment section below. Also, if you feel like there's any systems that I've missed in this video, please feel free to share that in the comments below as well. Once a new front tire is installed on the front of this bike, I plan to feature it in some classic bike comparison videos, so stay tuned for more GS1100E content. As always, I hope you found this video entertaining and informative, and until next time, enjoy the ride.